Hey guys, welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. Me, Jason, bringing you whiskey review number 32, where we're going to review the Glenfiddich Project XX. Now, it is the second release from the experimental series. If you want to see the first one, it's the IPA cast, which I'll leave a video of over here at the end of the video. But for now, I'm going to pop this one away, as we're going to focus in on the Project XX. Now, it does sound rather naughty, and it isn't like that. It's actually standing for the Roman numerals, which means the number 20. And as you can see there, a really nice dark sort of tinted bottle. We're going to pour ourselves a dram, and the Project XX is where the malt master from Glenfiddich, Brian Kinsman, allowed 20 of the brand ambassadors to choose a cask of their choice from Glenfiddich and combine them all together to get pretty much this whiskey. So it's quite an experiment in itself, and we're going to test how masterfully they came together. So in my review style structure, we'll start with the age statement, which is a non-age dated whiskey. I believe the whole experimental series will be a non-age dated whiskies. The ABV is bottled at 47% ABV, so much higher than your classic Glenfiddich. The cask selection, again, a mystery to us, except for the brand ambassadors. Well, actually, I believe it's only Brian Kinsman will actually know the recipe for this one. But if you are a brand ambassador and you are watching this one, do keep it a little secret if you know exactly your cask. Or you can just tell us your cask. So we've got everything from possibly even Madeira casks to port pipes, rum casks, red wine casks. You've got almost everything that you can think of that could have gone into the making of this whiskey. So that recipe will be very well wanted to be known at some point. But the distillery is from the Glenfiddich Distillery, which is over here. You can pronounce it how you like. I was told Glenfiddich is not the right way, it's Glenfiddich. And it's also by the parent company, William Grant and Sons, and they're located over here in Speyside, Scotland. So the price point of view is the next part, and this one I paid £55 for the 70cl bottle. The whole experimental series, I believe, is 70cl bottles. So, next up is exclusivity-wise. Yes, I would say this is very exclusive. The XX literally sold out everywhere so fast that I had to wait 6 months on a waiting list. And then eventually I walked into a shop in central London and I said, you know what, I see a bottle, I'm taking that without even thinking of the price. Now, in terms of colouring, there is no caramel colouring. It doesn't have it written on the box or even on here. So no caramel colouring in the Project XX. So let's now move into the assessment of the whiskey. So we're going to first assess the colour of the whiskey. You probably see me more in focus over there. Now the bottle, now the glass. So the colour of this one, I'm going to say, is more towards a little bit of a darker compared to the IPA. It's more towards a bronze gold. It's a little bit darker hues in it. So next up, we're going to assess the nose. So first impressions of the nose. This is very lovely. It begins with a very nice ripe Seville orange. It's sort of very ripe, and just as you're picking it up, you're getting that spray from the zest, and it's releasing its aroma into the atmosphere around it. You're picking up also red Agno pears, and also dried apricot sort of dropped into a nice creamy vanilla yogurt. And just behind that, a nice sweeter note of brown sugar that's not actually melting. This is actually just brown sugar just pulled straight from the packet, and you're getting that nice sweet essence of it. And then right behind that, I'm picking out a slight grassier note of sort of, I'd say, dried orange blossoms just before they're about to fade, and embarking a little bit of that grassy note just on the end. So a beautiful nose, so lovely. This is actually a really interesting whiskey. So we're next going to move into the palate for this whiskey. So off the first tasting, straight away I'm picking up the very rich, dark chocolate coated all over these blood oranges. A little burst in spice in terms of I'm getting a little bit of cloves, a little bit of black pepper, just refreshing the palate ever so slightly. And then it makes way for a nice sweeter undertone in sultanas, and a little bit of sticky toffee with a little bit of fruity flavours coming afterwards. So I'm going to quickly just have another sip and we'll assess the second part. So straight behind that sticky toffee, I'm picking out a little bit of what reminds me of a sort of like an apple tart, a little bit of pastry effect with a sprinkle or a dash of cinnamon powder, with a light spice of an oaky character right on the end, which slightly dries the inside of the palate, and you can really feel it a little bit on the outside, but then again back comes with the tartness of apples. It's a really enjoyable palate. Let's now next move into the finish for the whiskey. So the finish for this whiskey is quite a long, creamy vanilla. I'm not saying this is very long, or quite long, because it seems to prolong itself and roll all over the palate, and then right at the end I'm getting a nice sort of like shortbread sweetness. A little bit feeling like a bit chewy, like you're biting onto a shortbread, and you get a little bit of sweetness that comes off it. Gorgeous. So we're going to have to come to the actual rating for this whiskey, and this is going to be up there. I'm going to say that. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go with this. This is one that I've thoroughly enjoyed. I'm giving this one a 91 out of 100. It's actually higher than what I was initially going to give it, but when you sit with this whiskey and you really get to enjoy the complexity and the combination of the flavors, it's just mind-blowing. The higher ABV does wonder for it. You know, it's got that nice creamy complexity that really just works well, and the malt masters and Brian Kinsman and also all the brand ambassadors that chose the casks have done an absolutely superb choice in the cask selection, and just the combination is just so skillfully done. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now in terms of value for money, £55. I actually paid a little more, but totally worth it. I'm actually going to go pick up a couple more bottles. This is one that I can just sit there and thoroughly enjoy. Because you're getting, not only are you getting a really great design and like that tinted little bottle, but you're getting a really great tasting whiskey. And on top of that, the flavor profile is just wonderful. And it's probably one of the best NAS whiskies I've tasted so far. So on that note, I'm going to leave it with a 91 out of 100. Check the IPA cask review, which I'll leave over there. And by all means, feel free to check my subscribe button over here. Feel free to subscribe. Check out my blog, which should have a link in the description. And also follow me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook as well. So this is going to be Jason from WhiskyWise. Hopefully you did enjoy the review. By all means, let me know what you think if you have tried the Project XX. And I'll catch you all for another review. This has been Jason. Catch you guys then.